Death Sprint 66 is an on-foot racing game where you pilot a mechanical robot with the sole purpose of defying the expectations of the crowd as you run, slide, drift, jump, and claw your way to first place. Set in what looks to be a dystopian cyberpunk themed world, your goal is to get through the courses as fast as possible while battling other contestants, both AI and other players. The game is all about speed, dodging obstacles, and getting first place. Nothing else matters. Except maybe screwing over your opponents from them winning the race. That always feels good too. The main mode you'll most likely be playing is racing against other players. Depending on the lobby size, you might have some spots filled with AI, but that doesn't mean they aren't a pushover. They will roll you if given the chance. Your main objective in Death Sprint 66 is to simply win races. Set across 15 different courses of various sizes, terrain, and difficulty, you are tasked with learning those courses and using the mobility options available for you to go as fast as you can around the course and take first place. There are plenty of ways to navigate these courses: branching paths, walls to run across, and hazards to avoid. Most tracks are multiple laps, but some, depending on their size and difficulty, might only be 2 or even 1 lap long. Games in general are quick and snappy, usually not lasting more than maybe 3 minutes tops, but that's a good thing. It leans into the whole point of this game, which is to go fast. There are a lot of ways to do so, whether that's using the wall running to maintain your speed, ziplining to avoid deadly obstacles, or drifting through and then launching yourself out of corners, a la Mario Kart style. The main mechanic that will keep you in this race is called Surge, a pick-upable item that fills a gauge on the right side of your screen. Each meter filled gives you a single large boost of speed, allowing you to either maintain the pace you're currently going at, or to fix a messy turn or death that resets you back to a low speed. Speaking of, there is no top speed in this game. If you are good enough, you can hit some absolutely ridiculous speeds. You definitely want to be using Surge liberally, as getting more meter is relatively easy. It can make the difference between first and second place. On the courses, there are these blue floating chips that you can collect, which will give you a random power-up. Again, comparing to Mario Kart, these are your item boxes, with a bunch of different tools at your disposal. Some offensive, some defensive, and some with utility. I won't go into each one specifically, but they're pretty straightforward once you see them. This is where that PvP element comes into play. In addition to being able to bump into your opponents during a race, you can use these power-ups to mess with them. Whether it's a throwable buzzsaw, a landmine, or simply bulldozing through the opposition with a powerful charge attack, you use these to stop anyone that is ahead of you and get back into the rankings. You can only carry one, and your current placement in the race does not determine which power-up you get, but they are still very valuable assets to your race no matter what position you're currently in. As I mentioned earlier, these races are fast and short. A single race does not take long, and early on you will be playing the game, and then the race just finishes, and your reaction will most likely be, "That's it?" Which means the bulk of your experience will come from volume of races. As much as some would want longer tracks with more laps so the games are longer, I kind of prefer how fast everything is. You play this game at a very breakneck pace, making sure you do your best not to screw up. And before you can even blink, the race is over and you're loading into the next one. What's nice is you can always practice tracks you're having trouble with in the PvE mode. There you can choose which track you'd like to play and even determine if you want AI bots or not. There's also a single-player mode, which essentially boils down to running races with some modifiers or challenges you need to complete during the race. It's nothing too special, but having an alternative mode to play just instead of online is very nice. And by playing both modes, you can unlock some nice customization options for your character. Different color palettes, emotes, profile backgrounds, and statistics are all available to you the more you play. It's nice, it gives you a reason to keep playing. One of the major issues I personally have experienced with the game is how difficult or almost impossible it can be to make a comeback in a race. Should you screw up and die even just once sometimes, that can be a massive setback, both because the respawn time allows racers behind you to catch up, but also because the game, depending on where you died, will set you back full seconds behind from where it happened, meaning you've lost even more progress because of the location the game decides to respawn you in. And should that happen, you pretty much can't win the race unless the opponents also make massive mistakes. It's kind of a shame because when everyone's playing well and no one is dying to the course or each other, there's this crazy back and forth that can happen between racers, and it's hype as hell. This game moves so fast, it's difficult to tell where other people are sometimes without looking at the scoreboard. And since we're speaking on some of the game's shortcomings, the hitboxes of some obstacles in the course can be a little wonky sometimes, but to be fair, I would honestly attribute that to just how fast you can actually move in the game. If you slow down and dodge the traps, it makes more sense, but slowing down means you're going to lose precious distance from your opponents, so there's a bit of risk and reward there, which is good. What isn't so nice is sometimes playing online with a full lobby of AI. I imagine this game doesn't have the largest player pool to pull from, and that's no one's fault, but this game truly is at its best when playing with other people. But to defend the game, playing by yourself boils the game down to pretty much a time trial mode, which personally I don't mind at all, because as someone who enjoys that mode in a lot of racing games, trying to one-up your own best times is a very rewarding challenge to me, but maybe not for others. Still, with even just a couple of other players, all playing at their best, Death Sprint 66 is such an adrenaline-pumping experience that really should be experienced by any racing enthusiast out there. I saw a trailer for this game about a month ago and have been eagerly awaiting its release, and since then have been playing a lot. It's a great little game to kill time if you have something to do later, or to maybe coerce your friends into getting so you all have this Super Smash Bros. Brawl inside of a racing game. For the asking price of $20, there is definitely that much in terms of playable hours. Are you going to dump hundreds of hours into this game? Probably not. Depends on how adamant you are about getting better and trying to see how fast you can truly go, because that's where the enjoyment comes for me. Getting better so I can go faster and really see how far I can push this game's mechanics. Death Sprint 66 is a really unique take on racing games. I would suggest anyone who is tantalized by either the world or the gameplay to simply just give it a shot. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on this game, and be sure to subscribe for more gaming experiences that require you to lock the hell in. I hope to see you in future ones.